Welcome back. It's a huge week here on Fox News Channel. Bret Baier scoring an interview with Vice President Harris. You're going to be able to see it right here on Special Report Wednesday evening. It begins at 6 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you join us and set your DVR for that. Meanwhile, VP Harris is now calling on Trump to release his medical records, this after receiving a clean bill of health, and accusing the former president of, quote, hiding from another debate. Take a listen.
It makes you wonder, why does his staff want him to hide away? One must question, are they afraid that people will see that he is too weak and unstable to lead America? Is that what's going on?
All right, let's bring in Tim Murtaugh, Trump 2024 senior advisor. Tim, thanks so much for taking time with us. That was yesterday, obviously, the vice president rallying in North Carolina. Let's pick up where she left off. She's calling for your candidate to release his complete health file as opposed to just the letters put out by his doctors. I will say, Tim, at this point, we, the American voters, the public, know more about the former president than possibly any other A-list celebrity in the country. You know, his personal life, his professional life, his presidency. Why not just release the file to put an end to the Democrats' talking points on this?
First, I would say that Kamala Harris is probably the last person in America who should be talking to anyone about health records or things that doctors have to say, when she, as the vice president to Joe Biden, was the principal liar to the entire country about the condition that the current president of the United States finds himself in physically and mentally. So she is not the one to be delivering that. And President Trump has released his medical information from his doctor, who is a member of Congress, Ronnie Jackson, his former personal physician, who was also the White House doctor for Barack Obama, I would remind folks. But if she's going to be consulting a physician, what she really ought to be looking at is the health of her own campaign, because she is bleeding support from her own core constituencies, voters who Democrats ought to be able to count on. That's why she's paying very close attention now, 3 weeks from an election. This is not even base maintenance. She's having to go to black voters and Hispanic voters and people who are in the pro-abortion community, because she has to stop them from fleeing her campaign. This most recent wave of polls has got to be devastating. Heck, there's even a Washington Post story that says that even though she's raised over $1 billion, they're worried that they're running out of money because she has so many holes to dig herself out of that her campaign is running aground. This is a campaign that is in real trouble. People care about the economy and the border. They don't care about Kamala Harris waving around a note from her doctor.
Well, but here's the thing, though, Tim, if we're going to be honest about this. We all know that there's a difference between a letter signed off by a physician versus the actual medical file. I wouldn't even be asking you this question today if you guys just put it out there. Again, there can't really be much left we don't know.
President Trump is perfectly healthy, and Kamala Harris can't keep up with his schedule. She says he's hiding. My goodness. You know that when she's going to be, congratulations to you guys for landing the interview with her. That represents a radical shift in their strategy. When she was on that stage there in the clip that you just played, accusing Donald Trump of hiding, Donald Trump was about to take the stage at a rally in Arizona. He'd been at a rally in Coachella, California the day before. He's at a rally in Pennsylvania today. He'll be in Georgia tomorrow. The man never stops. She can't keep up with him. His schedule puts hers to shame. If anyone is hiding, we know that it was an active strategy on the part of the Harris campaign to keep her hidden. They hoped to be able to ride this joy vibe all the way through to Election Day. Clearly that is not working. She is cratering. And when people care about the economy, when people care about the border, they care about people being murdered by violent illegal aliens that she has allowed to cross our border. That's what this election is about. It's not about a note from Kamala Harris's doctor. This is a candidate who can't figure out what to say and what the issues are that she can run on, because her record is one of failure. She can't even answer the question, how is she different from Joe Biden? Because she's not. They are one and the same.
So, Tim, I want to make sure I get this in before I let you go. Very quickly, if you don't mind, she's going to sit down with Fox News Channel for the first time in history for an official interview. Your candidate's obviously been on with us hundreds of times. I don't know how many. Do you have any advice for her?
Sure. Come up with an answer that is somehow believable about how it is that you share yet another thing in common with Joe Biden. She's now accused of plagiarizing the book that she wrote about crime, stealing things from Wikipedia of all sources. That's what she stands accused of. I'd love to hear an answer for that. Joe Biden had the same problem, as you may remember, the first time he ran for president. So one and the same, even including plagiarism.
That accusation, of course, coming from J.D. Vance today via a tweet. We have reached out to the campaign, asked for comment. We will let you know, of course, when they get back to us. Tim, thank you so much for taking time with us today. I appreciate it. Great to talk to you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.